I'm going to show you how to simplify a radical. A radical is an expression that has a square root. For example, the square root of 72. First, to simplify a radical, you need to find the largest perfect square that fits into the number you're using. So, in this case, 36 would be the largest perfect square. 36 times 2 equals 72. And so, you can put the radical sign over 36 times 2, since they're basically the same thing. "36 times 2 can be separated into two separate radicals using the product property of square roots.
I get it. So, isn't the square root of 36 6?
Yeah. So you can simplify the square root of 36 to 6, and then just bring down the square root of 2 since you can't simplify the square root of 2. And then you have 6 times the square root of 2 as your answer.
Great.
Do you think you understand?
Yeah, let me try.
Let's try an example. How about the square root of 18?
Okay, so 18, square root of 18, and then I find the largest perfect square that fits into that, which is 9. So square root of 9 times 2, and then I separate the radicands using the product property of square roots. So that's square root of 9 times the square root of 2. Square root of 9 times square root of 2. Square root of 9 is 3. Times, oh, I don't need that symbol. Times the square root of 2, which is my answer. Is that right?
Yeah, good job. The product property of square roots is when you have an expression, so square root of a times b. The product property of square roots lets you separate them to the square root of a times the square root of b. As long as a plus b, or a and b, are bigger than 0, so no negatives. The quotient property of square roots is when you have a fraction under the radical sign. For example, a over b, the square root of a over b. The square root of a over b is the same thing as saying the square root of a over the square root of b when you use the quotient property of square roots. This only works when a is bigger than or greater than or equal to 0 and b is greater than 0, because you can't have a denominator as 0. Let's do an example. How about the square root of 49 over 81?
Okay, so using the quotient property of square roots, I would make 49, the square root of 49 over the square root of 81, which simplifies to square root of 49 is 7, and the square root of 81 is 9, and there is my answer, right?
Good job. Correct. Let me show what a conjugate is. A conjugate is when you switch the sign of an expression. So the conjugate of this number would be 3x minus 1 instead of plus 1. We can do a few more examples. X squared minus 3, its conjugate, x squared plus 3. Another example